The man noticed the smoke before anyone else did. It rose in a thin, ugly line from the front of the luxury sedan, curling into the bright blue afternoon sky as if it didn't belong there. The road was busy, the sun was high, and people were in a hurry, but something about that smoke made him stop. He was a single father with tired eyes, a cheap phone buzzing in his pocket with reminders he couldn't afford to ignore, and a little boy waiting for him at home. Still, he stepped off the sidewalk, ran toward the car, and changed 2 lives forever, then disappeared before the woman inside could even learn his name. Before we go deeper into this emotional journey, if you believe that kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in goodness, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel Kindness Touch. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. The man's name was Arav Mehta. He was 34, with shoulders bent not from age but from responsibility. Ever since his wife passed away 3 years earlier after a sudden illness, Arav's life had shrunk into a tight circle of work, home, and his 7-year-old son, Kian. Every morning, Arav woke before sunrise, cooked simple meals, packed a small lunch, and walked Kian to school before heading to his job repairing air conditioners under the scorching daytime sun. He never complained, not out loud, because complaining didn't pay rent or buy notebooks. His happiness came in small moments, like Kian's laughter or the way his son fell asleep with a book still open on his chest. That afternoon, Arav was on his way to collect Kian from school. He was already late, worrying about the disappointed look his son might give him when he saw the smoke. The car was expensive, sleek, and completely out of place on that cracked roadside. Inside was a woman slumped over the steering wheel, her face pale, her breathing uneven. People slowed down, stared, and moved on. Arav didn't. He yanked open the door, ignored the burning heat near the engine, and pulled the woman out just as flames licked upward. Within seconds, the car erupted, the sound echoing through the street like a warning from fate itself. The woman coughed violently, gasping for air, her designer clothes now streaked with ash. Arav laid her gently on the pavement, shielding her from the heat with his own body. Sirens wailed in the distance as someone finally called for help. When the woman's eyes fluttered open, they met Arav's for a brief moment. There was fear there, confusion, and something else, gratitude struggling to form. But Arav didn't wait. As soon as he saw paramedics rushing toward them, he stood up, wiped the soot from his hands onto his worn jeans, and walked away. His phone buzzed again. Kian's school. The woman's name was Serafina Royce. She was 42, a self-made billionaire, and the CEO of one of the largest renewable energy companies in the region. She had built her empire from nothing, driven by ambition and discipline, but that same relentless drive had cost her nearly everything else. She worked through meals, skipped sleep, and ignored warning signs from her own body. That day, a severe drop in blood pressure caused her to black out while driving. If Arav hadn't been there, she wouldn't have survived. When Serafina woke up in the hospital later that afternoon, sunlight poured through the large windows, illuminating the quiet room. Doctors explained what happened, how close she came to losing her life, and how an unknown man pulled her from the car moments before it exploded. She listened silently, her heart pounding not from fear now but from a strange emptiness. Someone saved her life, and she didn't even know who he was. For the first time in years, Serafina felt small, vulnerable, and deeply shaken. She ordered her team to find him. Security footage was reviewed, witnesses were questioned, but the man seemed to vanish into the city like a ghost. Serafina returned to her penthouse days later, surrounded by luxury that suddenly felt hollow. She couldn't stop thinking about the look in his eyes. No pride, no desire for reward, just urgency and care. It haunted her more than the flames. Meanwhile, Arav's life went on exactly as before. He picked up Kian late that day, apologized, and listened to his son excitedly talk about a drawing he made. They ate dinner together in their small apartment as daylight faded, the television murmuring in the background. Arav never mentioned the incident. To him it wasn't heroism, it was instinct. Still, that night, as he watched Kian sleep, his hands trembled slightly. He realized how close he came to not making it home at all. Weeks passed. Serafina couldn't shake the feeling that her life had been returned to her for a reason. She began questioning everything: the endless meetings, the cold efficiency, the loneliness masked by success. She started visiting hospitals anonymously, funding safety programs, and slowing down just enough to breathe. Yet the unanswered question remained: who saved her? One afternoon, while driving with a security escort through a quieter neighborhood in broad daylight, Serafina spotted something familiar. A man walking hand in hand with a young boy, carrying a toolbox over his shoulder. His posture, his walk, it was him. Her heart raced. She asked the driver to stop, stepped out, and called after him. Arav turned, confused, shielding Kian slightly behind him. Recognition dawned slowly. The woman from the burning car now stood before him, dressed simply, her eyes soft and searching. She tried to thank him, tried to express what his act meant to her, but Arav felt overwhelmed. He didn't want attention, didn't want questions, and certainly didn't want his son dragged into something complicated. He nodded once, politely, and told her she didn't owe him anything. Then he walked away, Kian's small hand still gripping his. That moment broke something open inside Serafina. She watched them go, feeling a lump in her throat. For all her wealth, she couldn't buy that quiet dignity or that pure love between father and son. She realized gratitude wasn't about words, it was about action. Over the next month, Arav noticed small changes. His landlord suddenly became kinder, reducing rent without explanation. Kian's school fees were mysteriously marked as paid. Arav's old work van was replaced one morning with a newer model, keys waiting at his door with no note. Arav suspected nothing at first, but deep down, he knew. Serafina never approached him again directly. Instead, she invested in community programs, improved working conditions for laborers like Arav, and set up a scholarship fund in his son's name, quietly, anonymously. She also made a personal promise to herself to live differently, to value life beyond balance sheets. Arav continued fixing air conditioners under the daytime sun, continued packing lunches, continued being present for his son. But now there was a subtle lightness in his step, a feeling that the world, though still hard, could be gentle sometimes. He taught Kian that helping others didn't require recognition, only heart. As the months turned into a year, Serafina often thought about that day, about the man who walked away without expecting anything. It changed how she saw people, how she led, and how she lived. She started mentoring single parents within her company, advocating for flexible hours, and reminding her executives that behind every number was a human story. And Arav, on a quiet afternoon much like the one where everything began, stood watching Kian play in the park, sunlight dancing through the trees. He felt peace. He didn't know whose life he saved that day, not really, but he knew something had been set in motion, something bigger than either of them. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even one small act of courage can ripple through countless lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and stay connected with us here at Kindness Touch. Before the ending, we have a special request. Please comment below and tell us, do you believe kindness always comes back, even when no one is watching? Because sometimes the most powerful heroes are the ones who walk away quietly, carrying nothing but love in their hearts and daylight on their backs, never knowing just how deeply they changed the world.